I'm Bonnie St. John, and I just spoke about micro-resilience and how to build a first aid kit for your attitude.
Mm-hmm. And you just finished up your TEDx talk about 2 minutes ago, and we do these interviews immediately after to capture this glow that you have going on. How do you feel right now?
Oh, it's great. I'm so thrilled. And it is like putting magic out there, and I'm just curious to see what comes back and how that translates. And I'm going to be going around the world this year talking about micro-resilience, and so it'll be great to have that TED Talk as part of the dialogue.
Mm-hmm. And when you have this dialogue with your audiences, maybe this audience is unique, I'll let you tell me. But very often TEDx speakers, they say they can really see the audience absorbing their talk. How was the crowd today?
Oh, it's a great crowd. We did the rehearsals yesterday, and it's hard with 20 people in the audience. So having the full audience and all that energy to play off of is just great. Mm-hmm. You laughed because I went out and I just went, yay!
I don't know what that's called. There's a term for that pose. I think
it's Amy Cuddy. It's power pose.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
But you were definitely, when you walked out, I could see this halo. So Bonnie, 3-time Olympic medalist. You've accomplished so much. I love what you're up to with the first aid kit for your attitude, doing so much. So what makes you, and by the way, this is Adjut's favorite question. We didn't always used to ask this, but we really want to know all the things that speakers accomplish, right? Not all of them are Olympic medalists, but what makes you want to give a TEDx talk?
Well, there's so many things. TED is such a great community. I mean, it's a great idea of how to have lots of little ideas, and it's so energizing. And I've loved so many of the TED Talks that I've listened to, and they've made a difference for me, and I've shared them. And so being part of that conversation feels really special. And then I think the challenge of taking something, I've got a body of work of 30 years and 7 books and, infinite number of speeches, and I've got a lot of material. And so picking one thing that you can do and really honing it. And I think it's humbling when you start preparing for this to realize, what I thought was 10 minutes at first, it's like, okay, we got to narrow it down, And so it's humbling, and it's a great exercise to really say, what is the 10 minutes I have that's worth sharing? And so that's a good personal discipline for people at, I guess, a lot of stages in their life. I heard that one of the women who's speaking today does this with her kids in school. She makes all of her kids practice a TED Talk. I think that's really great. Mm-hmm. It's something everybody should do if they can.
It's really cool. There's actually this thing called TED Ed clubs for high school and middle school type environments. So she's creating her own version of that, it seems. So it's really good. And I liked what you said about boiling your talk down, condensing it. It's generally the problem that speakers have. They're used to a 45 or 60-minute keynote. But there's something interesting about time limit that's counterintuitive. Like, oh, I have no time limit? Great, I don't have to plan. I'll just start right now.
Right.
But if you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it becomes so challenging.
Well, and occasionally, I do mostly speak 45 minutes, but occasionally I do get asked to speak for 10 or 15 minutes. But even in those situations, you just know, here's the occasion, here's what I'm doing, here's what I need to do with that time. I can do that. That's not that hard. I mean, it's still challenging. But to do a TED Talk is something different, right? Yeah. It's saying, I really want to give one idea that is worth sharing, that is a powerful idea, and try to explain it in 10-ish minutes.
Exactly. It's not so easy. And then it's like, why you, why now, why everyone? And I'm pretty sure you hit all those elements.
Okay, thank you.
So Bonnie, I'm going to let you go enjoy the rest of the day.
I'm so excited. Going first means I get to listen to all the other speakers and relax.
Something phenomenal about that. But before you go, final question, and it really encapsulates everything we're trying to do with this project, because it's the advice question. If you were to go back and do this again and provide suggestions to future TEDxWilmington speakers, what advice would you give them?
Well, actually, I'm going to answer a slightly different question.
Yeah.
I took it as, what advice would you give to yourself? And the advice I would give to myself is, I spent years wandering in the wilderness, not getting a TEDx talk, and so it would be go to a TEDx talk and attend one. I watched a lot of them on the internet, but I never thought to just go and show up at one and meet the people, and I think that would have helped. Or go to I guess there's a headquarters community where all the organizers are, and so reach out and get in touch with that. But I didn't really understand what was happening or how it was organized, and so that would be my advice to somebody else trying to get a TED Talk would be that there are ways to reach out and connect. And I had mainly contacted other speakers, which you would have thought would do it, but it really didn't. So anyway, that would be my advice, is there are more direct ways to get to TED. So once somebody's already named as a speaker, my advice would be to really, with Wilmington, do what you're asked. That the process that you know, and a lot of people's reaction is, all these rules, you're micromanaging me, and I found it really helpful. I've been speaking professionally for over 20 years. And so you'd think, I don't, you know, but I know that I needed to practice. I know that I needed to winnow down the outline. And so the help that I got from TEDx Wilmington in the midst of my busy schedule to do that was great for me. It really made it easier for me to do this than doing it on my own.
We love that feedback, honestly. It's like a positive response testimonial, because we've had so many people say the same thing. They don't get it until the end, and then they appreciate it.
Right.
So,
No, I appreciated it from the beginning that I needed to do this. And I was, one of the videos I did, I was about to go out on stage for another speech in Nashville. So I was dressed in my fancy jacket and doing all this. And I stopped in the hotel room, put my phone on a lamp, and did my TEDx speech for 10 minutes, and then I had to run out and go give a 45-minute speech. And so I was really busy. It was really hectic, but otherwise I would have had a harder time doing it.
Right. All works out in the end.
Yeah.
Well, this is really good.
Can I answer one more question?
Yeah.
So I'm asking myself questions.
Yeah.
I think I want to ask the question of why should it be shared? Why should micro-resilience be shared? And I think something I couldn't say there, but I firmly believe is true, is in the end you'd use all the micro-resilience hacks, and one of the core results is that you are dealing less out of fear and more out of conscious intention and hope and planning and dreaming and purpose. And so you're less in your lizard brain and you're more in your prefrontal cortex in many good ways, because there's many different hacks. But and this world needs that so much right now. There's so many people using fear and controlling people and exacerbating that, and at a time when we should be less primitive and more, everything we saw in the audacious piece, being able to play that game instead of playing small. And so micro-resilience are everyday hacks that help people be living from that place more. And so I do hope that it gets shared quite a lot around the world.
I like this. Non-motivated by fear, by hope.
and by the best parts of yourself, the parts you choose, the parts you want to be. When we get drawn down by our primitive impulses, that's when you say, oh, that wasn't me.
Right.
It's because you're reacting not from who you've learned to be, but really from your primitive impulses. Anyway, so micro-resilience is small things, but can help people to really live from their best place.